Well then, so much for all that sunlight from last time. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to yet another one-on-one kind of video. I'm glad to be back here. I'm really starting to enjoy doing this, I have to admit. I think my confidence levels were messed up before, hence that little textual pun at the beginning of the first video. Just starting, look at this. I think my mental preparation is complete. In today's video, we're going to look at some of the gear that I use to shoot these videos, as well as do my other creative stuff, being namely photography. Something I wanted to do for a long time, especially since the first vlog that I did way back. Those who are keen enough to remember will remember that I asked if you guys wanted to see a gear video, and I know that a few of you actually replied and said, yeah, we want to see one, so let's do it, why not? I've been looking for more video ideas. I'm still doing those other ones I mentioned in the April channel update, so don't worry, those are coming too, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different for a change, and maybe attract some other people over to the channel, because I am a bit more of a techie kind of person than you might think. So let's get to the stuff that's actually not being used to film this video right now, because there's a few things, not many, but a few things nonetheless. Notably, the biggest part of this not on camera kit, or that's about to be on camera but not being used on the camera presently, I can't talk, Sigma 24-105 f4 art lens, the art series being quite a well-acclaimed line of third-party lenses for Canon, Nikon, Sony, and the list goes on. This zoom lens has served me quite well in the last little while. I got it back at the end of 2016. It's quite a useful, versatile, constant maximum aperture zoom lens, being that it's an f4 maximum aperture throughout the zoom range. You'll find that cheaper zoom lenses have variable apertures, so like f3.5 to 5.6 or something like that. This lens has been great. Not that I've been using it a ton lately, but we'll get to that in a moment. But it's been great for a lot of things, you know, sort of wide angle to quite a long zoom when it comes to the crop sensor bodies, notably my old camera, the D7100. On full frame, this new camera that I have, it's quite a bit wider, a little less zoomed in, but still quite zoomed in nonetheless, and does quite a good job. So the next piece of gear is a little less used for video, but I have used it for it in the past, especially when it comes to added battery life, added stability with the camera, you know, just all around. It can be helpful for that. And that's this. This is a battery grip. It's quite simple. It's a thing that attaches to the bottom of your camera, adds another battery in, let me open it in real time, this compartment here. You can put another battery in there, and you have double the charge. Not to mention that it gives you an extra little shutter button, wrong side, shutter button right here. So when you're shooting photos in portrait orientation, you're not contorting your wrist like this. You're more like this instead of this. So it's quite handy. But once again, more of a photography tool than a video tool. But it can be helpful when you want a little bit more stability. All right, third piece of gear, not one that I've used many times, mainly because the camera that I use is typically too heavy for its original intended use. It's a little mini tripod, so it can be used for most little mini photography applications that you put it down on something that you don't need a tall, bulky tripod for. What I initially bought it for was to do actually vlogs. Well, you know, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, as I mentioned. Problem is, most of the time, my camera is quite heavy. In fact, it's always quite heavy. It's not a light camera. It's not a little Sony point and shoot or compact camera by any means. And though this will support it, my arm won't support it. So it hasn't been used many times, unfortunately. But it can come in handy if I want to use it for little photography things, or let's say to set the camera down on a very low angle. So I hold on to it. Never know when you're going to need it. All right, so getting to what's actually recording me right now, straightforward, the D750 on the tripod right now, of course, is a lovely camera. I absolutely love this thing. A lot of people are saying it's going to be updated this year. I decided not to wait. I think this camera is perfectly capable for what I need. I don't particularly need 4K video yet. Maybe one day, but for now, I'm still happy with 60 frames per second, full HD, 1080p, as you're seeing filming me right now. It also does amazing for stills, as you would expect from a full-frame DSLR, and it does a great job for video when it comes to manual control. I can set all my settings, unlike what I could do with the D7100, which kind of limited me in that regard. But this has successfully fixed that problem, and I couldn't be happier with it. Next up is the lens that's actually attached to the camera right now, and as you probably noticed, the 20-105 is over here, so it can't be recording me. What could it be? Well, I'll tell you, that's the Tamron 35mm f1.8 VC, as it were. Very versatile, extremely sharp, great wide open zoom lens, sorry, not zoom lens, prime lens, somewhat wide angle prime lens, which also has image stabilization. So I absolutely love this. It does everything I need to do. It's about half the weight of this behemoth here, hence why this thing hasn't been getting a lot of use. And as you can tell, the quality is excellent out of it, so I absolutely love that lens, and it's on the camera most of the time now. For most of my videos, when I'm out shooting out in the world, out in the real world, it's the Rode video mic, the original Rode video mic that's on the top of the camera. I managed to pick it up for a deal about a year ago and couldn't be happier with it. It's done a great job. I know there's some hissing in the audio. You may have noticed that in the channel update the last time over, or any time I might have used this for, like, let's say voiceover video, which has been only a few times. I think the March channel update I did that, and there's a little bit of a hiss, but it's not horrible. It does a great job considering I paid about $100 under its retail price by getting it in a pawn shop of all places, so got lucky there, and I couldn't be happier. It served me very well. And last but certainly not least is probably my most recent acquisition when it comes to my gear, and that's the Manfrotto 290 Lite with Be-Free Live head. Now that's my tripod, as you may have figured out. Manfrotto makes tripods, and that's what's currently supporting the camera right now. Great tripod from what I've used so far. I used it for the last video that I made, and I'm using it for this one as well. And again, great tripod, very sturdy, very versatile once again, because it's small, it's light, it's made of aluminum, it compacts pretty small. And then the Be-Free Live part being the head, the actual head that's the top of the tripod. It has a fluid, what they call a fluid drag system, so you can actually do really smooth tilting and panning motions with it, and all in a very small package. I'm looking forward to using it out in the real world for maybe some train spotting or something or other, so stay tuned for stuff that includes that as one of my tools. And well, that's it. Other than the bags that I have, which are a messenger bag, a Nikon messenger bag that I've had since my very first camera, as well as a backpack that carries all my gear quite organized. That's basically my gear. The main stuff being what I've shown you and what I've told you about that I use, and that's been filming me for the last however long this video has been. I really hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Something that I'm really glad that I'm finally, I guess I could say confident to do. I know that I haven't been that confident to make this kind of video, hence why I'm only just starting to do this kind of video now. But I have to admit, I'm glad that I'm doing it now. It's very enjoyable, very more or less laid back. I have to kind of plan out how I'm going to do it as I'm doing it, but it'll get more streamlined as I learn more about it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I really hope you enjoy this. Please feel free to let me know what you thought of it and what I can improve on, because I like to hear your feedback all the time. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Check out the social media pages below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.